everyone. My name's Christy. Welcome to my corner. Thank you so much for joining me today for, I believe, Flosstube 104. I'm pretty sure that last week's mini tube was 103.5. So this is 104. And I'm so happy to be here with you. This episode will be slightly different because I was completely monogamous in the little stitching I was able to do this week. I was completely monogamous to one particular project that I can't show you because it's a model. But I wanted to come on and I wanted to talk to you, and it's about 8 o'clock on Sunday evening. So I'm going to try and do this without having to edit much. That's my goal. So the plan for today is, I'm kind of excited actually. We're going to do two things. First of all, I got out my finishes bin, and these are my finishes that have never been fully finished. I just put them in a bin. I'm assuming everyone has like a bin or a drawer or a box or something. This is mine. It sits on top of my fabric, one of my fabric bookshelves over there. So we're going to go through that. And then we're going to do the giveaway for the 2 medieval patterns from Roz Clark Crafts. So that's the plan for today. And I don't know how long it's going to take. I haven't looked through this in ages, and I recognize the stuff that's on top and I recognize the stuff that's on the bottom. But there might be some interesting things in here. But before we get to any of that, I want to welcome my new subscribers. Thank you so much for joining me on my crafty and artistic adventures. And welcome back to anyone who's been hanging out with me for however long you've been with me. It's been great to get to know you in the comments here on YouTube and also on Instagram. And if you're not following me on Instagram, you can find me in two places. You can find me at Dr_Christy. I'll put them both here. Dr_Christy. And that's my kind of normal account. I haven't been posting much. I've been really busy at work, so I haven't been posting much there. But I post probably once or twice, 2 or 3 times a week, I think I've been posting there. So you can find me there for my stitching and my sort of daily life and my dog and stuff like that. And you can also find me at the Spoolery, which is my sort of homage to vintage wooden spools, which I have not posted on in probably a year, but I still talk about it because I keep planning on going back to it. And there's actually a third account that I run that you might be interested in, and that is the Stitchers Collective. I'll put that right here. And that is a kind of group of cross-stitch and blackwork designers who are kind of working together to create a designer community that I run along with Christy from Pixel, Pixie, X-Stitch, and World on a String by Dara. I'll link them both down below. And we are doing at the moment, there are sort of 2 activities happening in this group. Well, we have an Instagram account where we show all these amazing designers that you may not have heard of. So definitely check out the Instagram account. But also there will be a charity collaboration Earth Day chart thing where you give a donation to a charity and you get something like 25 Earth Day themed charts. I mean, it's a really good deal. And that is coming out on the 15th of April. And then some other folks in the group are designing a digital cross-stitch pattern zine, which is a theme, something to do with spirits. I'm not really involved in that. There's one coming in the fall that I am going to be involved in, which is really exciting. But there's cool things coming out of this community. So I hope that you will give us a follow over on Instagram. We've already hit 1,000 subscribers, and I think we opened the Instagram 2 weeks ago. I mean, this is really, and we're like over 80 designers. Over 80 designers. This has gotten huge. It's really, really exciting. Anyway, so check out the Stitchers Collective over on Instagram. This is a channel about embroidery and cross-stitch, other textile crafts, and vintage wooden spools and sewing paraphernalia and all those things and history and all those things. And so if you're interested in any of that and you're not subscribed, I'd love to have you subscribe and stick around. Yeah, I also want to thank my patrons. I have a Patreon, which is skewed more history, but also has stitching as well. And so if you're interested in seeing the history that I'm doing and getting getting sneak peeks at my designing and behind the scenes stuff, check me out on Patreon and you can help support the work that I'm doing, and that'd be awesome. That link is down below as well. Yeah, so let's go through the bin of finishes, the FO bin, my I'm very creaky. I don't have a good lap for this. Oh, this might work. All right, so we have some sort of new things. This actually isn't very new. So this is a crewel work finish. And this was a class that my husband got me from the Royal School of Needlework. It was their crewel, Jacobean crewel work, and it's a pomegranate and flower. I'm still not quite sure what I'm going to do with it. I wish that the fabric were bigger. I could make like a bag or something out of it, but I really like it, and I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I love it. So that's that. That was done. I finished that a couple years ago. This is one of my Experimadvent projects. So back in December, I had a jar full of projects of things that I wanted to try, and this was one of them. And it's essentially a burlap embroidery / weaving thing. But I still really like this, and this may end up being framed or something at some point. This is also an Experimadvent, and the plan, I think most of these top ones are, the plan was to do a needle felted galaxy. So that's what I did, needle felted galaxy. And this is just wool roving on black linen. Black like clothing linen, not even weave. This is embroidering on a tea bag. I made a little butterfly, also Experimadvent. This is, I have these like fabric dye crayon-y things. Make sure you can see it. And I decided to do a bird. Experimadvent also. Now we are out of the Experimadvent, but this one's pretty big, so I gotta put this down. Oh, this works. What am I gonna do it this way? So this one is a quilt top. It's a quilt top. And it is my Lindy Stitches Hedgehog House quilt top. So this is from, goodness, 2 years ago. So 2 years ago, the May of 2021, my friend Tony, the stubborn stitcher, who has a Flosstube but hasn't posted anything in a while, I'll link her down below. We were trying to figure out what we were going to do for May, and so she decided that she was going to do a Stitch Mayhem, where basically you do a project in a completely different medium than you've ever done before. And so she's a cross stitcher, so she did embroidery. And I decided that quilting is just pixel art, so why couldn't I quilt a cross stitch pattern? So I basically modified Lindy Stitch's Hedgehog House pattern, which if I can find it, I'll put a picture up here, and made just a quilt out of it. And I finished this, I don't remember when I finished the quilt top, and it's mostly hand stitched. So the little squares are hand stitched together, and then the rows are machine stitched, because I knew that if I was just going to hand stitch the whole thing, it would never get done. But now I just need to do I need to actually do the quilting part. So I need to like sandwich it with the padding and bind it and all that stuff. And then I'm going to put it on the wall. It's going to be a wall hanging quilt, because it's just not, it's just not big enough for anything else. This is going to go on the wall, and I think it's going to go, I don't know. My plan was to put it above my red couch in this room when my couch was on a white wall. But now my couch is against a teal wall, and this will not look as good against a teal wall as it would against a white wall. And this is the only white wall I have open, so it may just end up like above this stuff. I don't know. I don't know where it's going to go, but I'm excited. So that is my Lindy Stitches Hedgehog House quilt, which is a finished for now. This is my Fangs Out, Chin Up Fangs Out protest piece. This was designed by my friend Haley Gilmore, who designed the viral Women's March poster, Women Belong in the Resistance. I'll put a picture here. I'm sure I have one. She is an alum of our art department here, and she designed this poster for the Women's March and gave me permission to chart it with royalties. And then we use it as, after the strike down of Roe v. Wade, we used this as a charity chart to donate money to Mississippi charities that help with abortion funds and stuff like that in Mississippi. So that's what this is. I love this. And I really tried to make, she's a printmaker, a graphic designer and a printmaker. And so her original is a print. And so I tried to give it that feel of being a print. This is still for sale. If you would like to buy this piece or this pattern, you can find it in my Etsy shop, which is linked down below. I was super into like Space Invaders for a minute. I was like weaving Space Invaders and stitching Space Invaders, and I made a little Space Invaders mini chart, which I love. I think you can find this for free in my link tree. But I did this because I also did the Space Invaders temperature pattern. And I wanted like an actual pattern. And you can find, this is what that looks like. And you can find it in my Etsy shop down below. But I think that this is free on my Google Drive. I do think I'm going to move my free patterns over to Patreon, though. I think that I can post open public things there, including a file to download. So I'm going to check that out, but I think that that's just so much easier than a Google Drive, to be honest with you. These are the first things I ever embroidered, friends. This here, well, that's not true. The first thing I ever embroidered is in a drawer over there. This is the second thing I ever embroidered. And it's a manicule. And then I did a bunch of manicules. So a manicule, I love it. This makes me really happy, but that's a manicule. A manicule is a hand that points to something, right? So if you ever see like old-timey signs with hands, those are manicules. But in the Middle Ages, in medieval manuscripts, manicules were used in the same way that like people would put arrows or like sticky tags. They'd draw a little manicule. And so these are all actual manicules that were in manuscripts. This one's really fancy. Most of the time they don't have color on them, so I added the color. So this did not have color in it in the original. The puppacule in the middle did. That's actually the colors of the puppacule. And then we have a little bishop. This guy's a bishop, you can tell, because it has the two fingers, and that's sort of a blessing gesture. That's a blessing gesture in manuscripts. And we have this guy here. Anyway, oh, I love this. But look at my little puppacule. That was kind of like my most realistic shading one at the time. And I think I did a really good job. I'm really proud of Past Me. I really am. So I did these. I started doing embroidery summer of 2019. So I would have done these in summer of 2019. We're going on almost 4 years of puppacule. Oh, and they're called manicules because manus is hand in Latin. That's why they're called manicules. Oh, this is when I first started. These are my experiments for, what's it called? My brain's not working. I just said it like 3 projects ago. Needle felting. I wanted to needle felt clouds. The reason why I started needle felting is I wanted to needle felt clouds in embroideries. And this is kind of as far as I got because I never quite got them to work. And so I didn't want to ruin an embroidery with, with really bad clouds. You know, it's fine. This is a penguin and fish pattern. Penguin and Fish is an embroidery company. They used to sell in places like Target and Joanne, but I don't think they do anymore. But you can find them, penguinandfish.com. They're down below. And I did a lot of her patterns. I used to watch her live before I got into Flosstube. She used to do a daily live video at 8 p.m. Central Time. But I think she stopped, or she's slowing down or something. But once I got really into Flosstube, I stopped watching her so much. But yeah, this is one of her designs that I bought. Craft a Happy Life. And it's just on a drawstring backpack. I guess that's technically an FFO. Oh, so I like joining in stitch-alongs, but I'm really bad about finishing them. So these stitches here are from, what's it called? Stitchtober, where basically someone gives you a prompt. AJ Pritchett, I think, is the name of the guy who does it. He gives you a prompt and you stitch that theme. And so these are all of the prompts that I did. So we have a scythe, and this is embroidery, a cornucopia, a cow skull. Woo! Things are falling. My lid is too heavy. There we go. I think I fixed it. This is a knot, Celtic knot, and a shattering butterfly, a doll, a theater mask, but like both masks at the same time, a skeleton coming out of the ground, and a person and an eyeball, a green man, a galaxy, a violin. I don't remember what, or a fiddle. I don't remember what all the prompts were. A bowl, a bowl with a spider web and a spider. Oh, a monster, but a fancy monster. And a hobbit door. So I was supposed to do one every day, but the problem is that I didn't plan it out ahead of time. So I probably spent like an hour planning it, 2 hours planning it, and then stitching it. And I got behind and I gave up. I thought I had another, well, I don't know. There may be another one of these in here, or I may have stopped at whatever number this is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I feel like I have another piece somewhere, but I don't know where it is. I have my Harpy and Dragon. This is my first cross-stitch design that I ever finished. And I designed this from it is adapted from some lace patterns, late 16th century lace patterns from a book I found. And you can find this in my Etsy shop down below as well. So that's, yeah, this holds a really important place in my heart. This is probably one of my favorite designs that I've done, just because it's the first design that I finished cross-stitching, and it's my first of this style, which I really, really love, which I've kind of, moved more into, and I just love it. So that's Harpy and Dragon, 1596, I think it's called. I think is the date. That's that. You can find that in my Etsy shop if you're interested. Oh, I made a dragonfly on chiffon. Which I'm really proud of, actually. I think it's silks. Yeah, I think it's mostly silks. This is just on gray chiffon, and it's a dragonfly. And I think my plan was to like put this in a hoop and hang it in a window or something. I don't know, and I just never did. So that's in here. And then I have a series. There was a point when I have a series of 4 pieces. There was a point when I was feeling really uncreative and uninspired, and I wanted to, I don't know, make something. And I was watching this YouTube, it was years ago, I don't remember who it was, of an artist, a sketch art, a drawing artist, like an ink artist, who, when they were feeling uncreative, just drew lines. And so that's what I stitched. So I just stitched lines. So here's this. And I don't remember what shapes they started as, because you just sort of like make a shape and then stitch around the shape. So that's the first one. Here is the second one. And these were just a study in lines. And again, my plan for this was to frame them in a black, in 4 black frames, or in a black frame with like all 4 of them together. Oh, excuse me. Oh, it's my third one. And then this is actually the first one that I did. And I can tell because I am crooked. I'm off grain, which really bothers me. But with embroidery, you can't eat, if you're not thinking about it, it's easy to get off grain. So it's off grain. And that's really annoying. And this is linen, so you can like see the slubs. So that's what those 4 are. And it's nice to see them. It's nice to see them. This is another penguin and fish pattern of a Batty Bat. You can find this on her website. Just a little Halloween bat that I thought was really cute. And another one that I'm not sure if this is on her website still. So I belong to her embroidery of the month, embroidery pattern of the month club for a while. And so this is an exploration in silk shading. And in the pattern, these had little like smiley faces and stuff, but that wasn't my style. But this was, you know, it was a nice silk shading exercise. It looks like a lot of these other ones are hers. This is her Corpse Bride, or Bride of Frankenstein bouquet, which is another Halloween one from Penguin and Fish. And oh, this is the last one. And then this is her Grow pattern from Penguin and Fish, which is really pretty. So those are all my finishes. I hope that you enjoyed this trip down memory lane. And I'm going to put them away so that way I can close this box. So give me a second. And get my iPad so I can do the giveaway. And yes, I think I'm just going to keep all this in. I'm not taking very long, so I feel like, because otherwise, like, I won't get this up, because I don't want to be doing it all night. Anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this little tour through my FO box. I have another FO over here. I'll show you. Give me one sec. This is my January hair pattern, which belongs in the box as well, so I'll put that in there. This is my January Patreon chart. So we'll put that in there. I have some other things, other places too. I just kind of leave projects places. Okay, so now that we've looked at those and I'm reminded of some of my favorite pieces that are in there that I can really do something with, I want to do the giveaway. So 2 weeks ago, Roz Clark contacted me. She's part of the Citrus Collective, which is how we kind of got into contact with each other, and was kind enough to send me her 2 medieval patterns because obs, right? And the first one was the cat snails, which are adorable and are why I realized that people might actually be interested in stitching my medieval marginalia if I design them. And so the cat snails are adorable. And then the other one is the elephantine, which are medieval elephants because medieval people had no idea about elephants. Hilarious. So let's do this. I have the comment picker up, and the cat snail, oops, it got big. The cat snail keyword was shell. Yep. 13 people wanted that. So I can never remember where it goes. There it is. Barbara Bryce. Barbara Bryce. Great to see another video. Thank you, Barbara. Very enjoyable. Trunk and shell designs are so interesting and unique. Thanks for the intro to Roz Clark. Yeah, so check out her, I'll link to her down below too, and I think she has a Flosstube, so I'll link to her Flosstube down below. But check out her stuff. But Barbara, if you could contact me on Instagram, give me your email address, and I'll send you the PDF for the cat snail pattern. And then the second one was for the elephantine, and it was trunk. And then I have to do math. That took longer. 9 plus 4 should not be that difficult. Let's see. 12 comments for elephantine. Let's see. And the winner is Kirby Jane. So Jane, if you could contact me on Instagram as well, I will send you elephantine. I hope you don't feel bad about not responding to comments. I do actually feel bad about not responding to comments. I appreciate just knowing you read them. I do read them. I read them all. I read them all as soon as they come in. And then I say to myself, I'll go back to them later when I have a minute so I can really respond. And then it doesn't happen. But I read them all. And I may just have to go through and just read them all again and just like heart them. But Jane, Kirby Jane, if you could contact me on Instagram, and or I guess my email address too, if you're not on Instagram, and that's all down below. But contact me on Instagram at Dr_Christy is the best way to get a hold of me, and I will send the elephantine out to you. So thank you all so much for participating in that. Just a little bit of update on me. Work is a lot. Work is a lot, and we're getting into final season and God, assessments and all sorts of things and budgets and stuff. So I don't know. I don't know how much stitching I'll get done. I'm really, really hoping that I can get this model stitched in the next week or two, because I want to release this pattern, because I want to do the next one. This is the problem, is that I want to do the next one. But it's been pretty good, although, oh my God, friends. So my students turned in their midterms, and I'm grading their midterms, and the grades are really bad. And I'm like, what is happening? Like, why? The students have never done this poorly on my exam before. I don't know what's going on. Turns out I never gave them the study guide. And I know many of you are like, study guide? But like, my exam presupposes a study guide. Like, you can't do, you can do well in it without a study guide, but it's very, 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 very difficult to do well on my exam without the study guide I give. I felt so bad. I felt so bad. So I apologized and gave them extra points because, you know, I basically set them up for failure, and that's so shitty. That's so shitty. So, I haven't heard from anybody in that class yet. I hope that I did it on April 1st, though. I hope they didn't think it was like an April Fool's joke. I did it yesterday. Anyway, so that happened, which is really kind of sad and makes me really sad. But on a happy note, tomorrow, I'm so excited. Tomorrow I'm starting tap lessons. I'm taking tap dance lessons. I'm so excited. I found a new, like brand new, like just finished painting her new studio like 2 weeks ago. Found a brand new dance studio who could fit me into her schedule to do a half-hour tap lesson Monday evenings. I cannot tell you how excited I am to get my tap on. Very excited. So that's starting tomorrow. I do plan on posting next weekend. I'm not Christian, so I don't worry about Easter and stuff like that. It's just a normal weekend for me. And I actually get a couple days off ahead of time. So, I may actually even post before late Sunday night. And I don't know. I think that's basically all that's happening. I have a project brewing over there that my patrons have already seen. Like I said, I hope to have my next medieval marginalia out in the next couple weeks. And then also the next couple weeks is the Earth Day charity collaboration. So that's coming out as well. Anyway, lots of fun stuff is happening. Very busy and trying to do the best that I can to keep up with everything and really looking forward to the end of the semester. But I think I'm doing a good job at my new job. So that feels really good. It's hard and takes a lot of time, but I think once I get the hang of it, I think I'll be really good at it. I really do. I think I'm already pretty good at it, even not being very good at it. So, I guess we'll see when I get my evaluations from my dean. I mean, what is he going to say? He's not going to fire me. No one else wants the job. He's stuck with me. So he just has to accept that I am who I am. Anyway, that's it from me. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this sort of tour through my old FOs, my old finished objects. And maybe this will inspire me over the summer to get some of them finished and up on walls, because I have a big teal wall over there that has so much possibilities, so much room for activities on that wall. So I hope to get some stitching up there and maybe even replace some of these with like cross stitch, because I realized the other day that like none of these are cross stitch at all. They're all embroidery. So maybe I need to put like my harpy and dragon right here instead of that woven circle, since I'm not really doing weavings anymore. Anyway, that's it from me. Thanks for watching. I will see you next week. And those of you, I was going to say those of you who celebrate, but I'll probably post this before Easter. But have a good Holy Week. If you celebrate, have a good Passover if you celebrate. I think that's it. I think I'll stop talking. But it's been great talking to you. And this is all the stuff I cut out. You're welcome. You don't have to put up with this every week. Anyway, I'll talk to you later. Take care of yourselves and have a good one. Bye.